squad. Oh my god. Get it together. Hey beauties, welcome back to my channel. Today is a requested look. It is a recreation of a look that Cara Delevingne, like the god, she's so pretty. The look that she wore to the Suicide Squad premiere. I think I'm having trouble spitting that out. Somebody inboxed me this on Instagram. I don't remember who it was. Forgive me. I'm all over the place right now, but I thought it was amazing. And this right here right now is right before my surgery. I'm like 2 days beforehand, so I was like, let me squeeze it in. It's kind of weird. It's like I'm talking to you guys in the future. Like, you guys know I already had surgery if you're watching this video, yet for me it has not happened yet. So obviously this is like the end of my pre-recorded videos I did for you guys, so let's cross your fingers that it was enough. Anywho, that's completely off topic. If you guys want to see how I recreated her look, I don't even feel like I did her justice, but still, if you want to see how I did this, just keep watching. First things first, I'm going to prime my face. I'm going to use MAC Skin Refine Zone, and I'm just going to pop this on my pores because they are crazy. A little on my chin and a little on my forehead. This is where I tend to get a little oily, so I like to prevent that from happening, especially with the foundation I'm about to use. Right on top of that, on the pore area, I'm going to put Makeup Forever Skin Equalizer and Smoothing. And I'm just going to put this here, and I've actually started putting a tiny dot on each side of my eyes because I feel like it smooths out that area a little bit better. And my highlight ends up looking a little smoother as well because I do have a little bit of like the fine lines or this or that, and that just really smooths it out. But you want to put a tiny, tiny bit if you do it. For my foundation, I'm using one of my favorites. I love this foundation. This is the Josie Maran Vibrancy foundation, and my shade is G35. I'm just going to take one pump. Literally, one pump does my whole face, so don't use any more than that because it can become, this isn't a layering foundation, so you don't want it to become cakey. And I'm going to take my Artis Oval 7 brush, you guys. I have not used my Beauty blender on my face, like other than the concealer, since I got this brush. I'm obsessed with it. I'm going to work the foundation into my brush. You can kind of see I have like a tiny bit here, and then I worked it out here. And I'm going to start brushing downward on my face. I have heard people saying that they felt that this foundation was cakey, and I'm like, the only thing I can think of is you have to be using too much, or you're trying to get more coverage out of this foundation than what it's supposed to have. It's not supposed to be a high coverage foundation. So like if you try to make it into that, yeah, it's going to be cakey. But I don't look cakey at all, in my personal opinion. And I didn't even use that full pump. Like, there's still all this left on there. Anywhere I want like a little extra coverage, I will just tap the brush. I didn't put anything extra on there, but I just kind of tap, and that'll give me a little coverage where I need it. Now I'm going to go in with one of my new favorite concealers. Still, Urban Decay I think is still #1, but this guy right here I've been using a lot. It is waterproof, it does not budge, and the texture on it is very different. Kind of similar to the Tape Shape, but I like this one better, and that's just me personally. You know, everyone's different with concealers. We all have our preferences. But this is the Smashbox Studio Skin 24-Hour Waterproof Concealer, and I got a new shade. This one is, ooh, I picked up the wrong one. This one is Fair Light. I kept the other one as well for whenever I want to wear less of a highlighted under eye, but this one is Fair Light. It's still not super fair, like it's still darker than my Urban Decay in Fair Neutral. This one's a lot lighter than this one. So I'm going to take this and I'm going to put it under both eyes like so. And you do have to go in right away and blend this out. And I always use a damp beauty blender for this. This really is waterproof. I hit my knee and I cried. I'm before surgery right now, so I know you guys know about the surgery, but I'm recording this before surgery. And I cried because I hit my knee. This did not move. I'm not kidding. I didn't rub my eyes or anything, so there's that, but I was like, holy crap. It's almost like a gel texture, like it's gonna, like it wants to stay together. It's really weird, but I like it a lot. It's good coverage. I say about medium coverage. I wouldn't build this up because I feel like it would look cakey if you built it up. But it's like, it's not as luminous as the Tape Shape, not on me at least. But I don't know, I really like this concealer. And now I'm going to add a tiny bit on the nose and the forehead. I do this after because you do need to work it in because it has some staying power. I don't think I would ever recommend using anything but a beauty blender with this concealer. Personally, I just don't see it working out very well. So what I like about this is that it looks so natural and I can go do the next step that I'm going to do and I don't have to set this right away. I can come back to it. So we're going to do that. And the reason why I'm not setting this before I do this is because I don't like a cream to go on after I put a powder on. So this is the Soleil Tan de Chanel, and I am just on a Chanel like kick right now and I can't help myself. So I've been using this and I haven't even really taken off the top that much. And the brush I've been using for this is the 170. So I kind of get it into the brush like so and start tapping it on my face where I'm going to want it. And then I start to kind of like push it out. And I think it gives the most beautiful natural bronze look. But I will say, when I have my darker foundations on, like if I had a short sleeve shirt on, I would be wearing a darker foundation because I'm so dark. But when I have a darker foundation on, I can't really see it so much. So I think it's better for like medium to fair. And yes, I do think fair skin girls could definitely wear this. And just a little side note, I noticed that the new Hourglass foundation brush for the new Hourglass Vanish Stick foundation pretty much looks exactly like this, feels exactly like this, and is more expensive. So if you want to get a brush for that foundation and you want one that goes with it, get the MAC 170. You're going to save like 10 bucks at least. I don't know how this looks on camera, but to me, this is beautiful. No powder on my face. Everything just looks so skin-like and natural, like in a makeup kind of natural way. I wish I could get away with not wearing any powder, but I get really oily in the T-zone. This is beautiful. Like, I'm really loving like all my new stuff. Like, I'm obsessed. Okay, this is another new thing that I have been doing. I'm going to take my Hyaluronic Hydra powder by Terry and my Wayne Goss number 2 brush, and I'm gonna like literally I'm gonna take this little excess that's on the top here, get it on my brush, tap off the excess, and go right underneath my eye. Not all the way up here, but right, mainly on the pores and then dragging it out. This really helps to mattify this area. It smooths it out and just keeps it nice all day long. And I also like to put in these areas. But I'm still gonna put my diffused light here to brighten, but I really like to do this first. I don't know, I was playing around with it one day and that's how I tend to come up with things. I'm like, oh, let's try this. And then that's how I find new things that I love. But this has really been working for me. Okay, Beauty Blender and Diffused Light. And this might seem like a lot of powder, but as long as you're not putting too much on, you won't look cakey. And I'm gonna take Diffused Light and just brighten up underneath my eyes now. Now to set my face, I'm going to use the La Mer The Powder, and this is being reformulated, so I think it's going to be back out in October. So if you don't already have your hands on it, you will be able to get it. So I'm taking the powder and my Tom Ford bronzer brush. I have 2 of these now, and I'm just going to set my face with this powder. This is my favorite to set with. I use another to buff, and I'll show you guys that later. This is like almost like an updated foundation routine, kind of. Now I'm going to take a little bit, a lot less than what I usually use because I already have a little bit of the shading where the bronzer is. So I'm going to take a little bit of Luminous Bronze Light from Hourglass, my other Tom Ford bronzer brush, and just go right over top of where I bronzed earlier. Like I said, not nearly as much as I usually do. Now I'm going to go in with Golden Sun Blush from Chanel. And the reason why I'm doing this before I do my eyes is because I found that when I do like the buffing technique with my powder afterwards, sometimes it gets in my brows after they're done and it can like tint my lashes. So I try to do all my face if I know what the look is going to be and then do my eyes. So I'm going to pop this on my cheeks. This is beautiful. It gives like a really natural look, but it kind of gives a little bit of a glow, but not like a glittery glow. It's just like a sheen. It's really pretty. Thank you to whoever it was that told me about this blush. Yes, ma'am. It's so gorgeous. So for the buffing technique, I either use the Lancome Absolue powder in Absolue Peche or the Sicily powder in Iris-C. Now, in the photo, she looked a little bit more glowy, like on the forehead, T-zone kind of thing. So I'm going to use this one because I find that it is more shiny than this one, like shiny in a good way. So I'm going to use Absolute Peche. I get some in my cap and then press it into my brush. And then I'm going to start buffing it onto my skin. And you'll see that this really softens everything and makes you to where you don't have any lines or anything. You can kind of see the difference between the two. So when I talk about buffing and what kind of powder I like to use after setting, that's the difference. Setting it, my makeup, and then buffing at the end. Boom, brows are done. If only it happened that quickly in real life. Anyway, I'm going to use my Viseart. This is the 01 Neutral Matte Palette. Figured it had all the shades I needed, and other than the glittery shades, that is. So this will be the base to my eye look. So I'm first going to take this white shade here on a MAC 252, and I'm just going to go right underneath the brow arch and buff downwards. You're not going to see this in the end when it's all said and done, but it's nice to have it so that it helps to blend. So I'm going to take this shade here, and this is a MAC 217, and I'm going to use this as a quote-unquote transition shade, just so that it has a nice edge. I wish I had something a little cooler that was light, but I don't like a super gray outline, so she doesn't have this shade in her eye look, but like I said, you're not really going to see it at the end. I don't like straight up gray up here on me personally, so I'm using that instead. Now I'm going to go in with the gray shade, same brush, and I'm going to go straight into the crease. And I'm not really going to bring this all the way in. I'm going to stop it here, but I'm going to start working this upward right here. So into the crease, right at the outer corner, and then start pushing it up. After you've dispensed most of the product right where you want it, you're going to kind of push the excess upward and just kind of blow it out on this outer corner here. Take your time because you don't want like a big gray, gross mess right here. So just take your time and go slowly. That was real descriptive. I have my moments. And I'm going to layer. So every time I dip my brush back into the product, I tap off and I go directly into this outer crease and right up against the eye corner here. And then I start pushing up. I'm just going to layer it until I see that it's as dark as I want it. Going to start taking out the excess here and going a little further out because she has this really smoky. And then start going in like little circles right around the edge after I've done both sides to really make sure that it's diffused. Again, no extra product on the brush, just making sure that it's blended out. Then once I've got that how I want it, I'm going to bring the excess in to this inner corner here. But no excess on the brush, just no extra on the brush, just bringing the excess. I'm getting tongue-tied. Now I'm going to take the black from this. This is very black, so tap off the excess, go right in, going to press and wiggle. I'm not really moving the brush, I'm pressing it down and wiggling it, and that's putting the product right where I want it. and then I start to move it around. So I'm moving it directly into the crease first, and then doing the same thing and kind of pushing it up to my desired point. And again, she has this really smoked out, so I'm pushing it up quite a bit, but the majority and the darkness is going to be right here. And then I'm taking the excess further in. Just keep working it out. This is taking me a while, just so you know. It's not getting done super fast. For this inner corner area here, I'm taking a little bit of MAC's Platinum Pigment, and I'm using a 242, but I'm going to put a piece of paper towel underneath my eyes to catch anything that could possibly fall, because I'm not trying to redo this face. So I'm going to take the brush and place it down, tap, 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 and this is not even wet. Like, this is just how the pigment looks. So I'm starting on the inner corner and then buffing outwards, and I'm going to bring it up some on this inner corner and then just start tapping the excess right into that black. Now on my ring finger, I'm going to grab Aluminum from the Natasha Denona palette. You can totally get these by themselves, like the shades. You don't have to get the whole palette, but I'm just going to take this on my ring finger and pop this right over the Platinum Pigment, and then start spreading it out, because her eye look was super glittery. And if you get it up here, it's totally fine. We'll take our brush and soften it up, so it's no big deal. And she's got this sparkle all the way to this inner part of her like nose area here. So I'm purposely like sticking my finger like everywhere to kind of make it messy. And then I'll just go back in with my brush wherever I need to and fix it. But I'm going to take my 217 again and a little bit more of that black, and I'm going to pack it on one more time on this outer corner here before I add the black glitter over here, just to make sure it's nice and intense. Again, with my finger, I'm going to take MAC's Dazzleshadow, so glad these are permanent, again in Let's Boogie, just on my finger, and I'm going to place this over where the black is, but I'm going to put my tissue down first. I'm going to take a sponge, it's clean, and I'm just going to take this excess and flick it upward. It's going to create a little bit more of a line, angular upward, but I don't want it to be super sharp. Hers is a little bit more sharp, but my eye shape, I don't know, I don't want it to be, I like it to be a little bit more smoky, and that's just my personal preference. If you wanted it to be more clean, you could use tape, and that would definitely give you the more clean look. Now I'm going to use Schwing liner from the Balm. This is a matte black liquid liner, and that's why I'm going to use it, because it's going to dry matte. No winged liner or anything like that, just a thin line across, and then we will work on the lower lash line. And I'm probably going to have to do this off camera because Mama can't see that far. All right, for the lower lash line, I'm going to start off with the Highliner in black from Marc Jacobs, and I'm going to go on the inner rim and then drag it into my lower lashes as well. MAC 219 to go ahead and smudge out the edges of that. But don't bring this down too far. She doesn't have it down super far in the picture. Now I'm going to go back in with the 242 and a little bit more of MAC Platinum Pigment, and I'm just going to pop this, I can't do it with that there, right on the inner corner and start dragging it out a bit. I kind of have it just like on the tip of the brush. And I don't want to cover up all of the black, just maybe like the bottom part of it. Same brush, and I grabbed a little bit of Let's Boogie, and I'm going to put that underneath the other half. Oh, that is so pretty. Time for mascara and lashes. Now in the picture, she didn't have anything super dramatic, so I'm just going to use a pair of MAC 7s. I'm going to pop these on off camera because I can't do it. And I'm going to apply mascara before I do it, top and bottom. Lashes are done, and finishing off the face, she did not seem to have any actual like cheek highlight, so I'm just going to set my face using the Urban Decay All Nighter. No, I'm not. It's definitely Chill All Nighter. I can't use that stuff. If you're wondering why, it's just because it just dries me out too much. but I've been using that all-nighter foundation a lot, so I think it's just like on my tongue. Now we're obviously going to do a red lip because she was rocking that. Like, it looked so good. And it was more of a matte finish, but it did kind of look a little bit like a stain. So what I'm going to do is use the Nars lip cover in Do Not Disturb. Another great option would be MAC Russian Red, but I want to use this guy because I've been obsessed over this formula. And it's kind of like a lipstick melted down into a tube, but it's not a matte liquid lipstick. It's just really cool. So I'm going to apply this, and no, I'm not going to use any liner. You could if you wanted to. I'm not. So this is what the lipstick looks by itself, but what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to just blot it so it gives it more of that like stained appearance. I hope you guys enjoyed this recreation of Cara Delevingne's look. She is so gorgeous. It was such a beautiful look, and I really appreciate the inspiration. So if you guys have any other looks you want to see, just let me know, and I will see you guys in my next video.